What's up, everyone? We are live at 5. It's Thursday, April 30th. I'm Paul Montour.
I'm Beth Stevens.
I'm in the middle of nature because I want to remind everyone to get some fresh air. Just because we're quarantined and we're being careful doesn't mean you can't get out and breathe the fresh air. We're joined, as always, by Caitlin Moynihan.
Hello. Oh, I'm in a new spot. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
Doing
And hey, Beth, who's today's guest?
Oh, we are very lucky because we have Austin Scott with us here today from Girl from the North Country, which had just opened.
He's so good in that show. He's so good in it.
So good. He plays Joe Scott. We'll find out his relation.
No relation.
We'll get to him, but first, let's do today's news.
We finally know when we're going to be able to see the highly anticipated Freestyle Love Supreme documentary.
That's right. So it's called We Are Freestyle Love Supreme, and it will premiere on Hulu on June 5th. And of course, this is the group started by Lin-Manuel Miranda and Tommy Kail and Anthony Veneziale. And the thing about it is, it's been going on for a long time, 15 years or more, before In the Heights. Before Hamilton, there was Freestyle Love Supreme. So you get to see his whole trajectory from way back in the day to going on Broadway last season. So check that out, June 5th on Hulu. And you'll get to see a lot of Broadway stars, right? Christopher Jackson and James Monroe Iglehart and all the guys that were in the show on Broadway. Not all of them, but some of them. So something to look forward to in June.
Yeah, and speaking of things to look forward to, some of the biggest stars are getting together virtually.
I feel like a weatherman. I feel like a weatherman, like I'm supposed to report the weather. Anyway, so every year the Capitol, they do this Memorial Day concert, and they always invite fantastic Broadway stars. So this year they announced they're still doing it Memorial Day weekend. It's happening on May 24th at 8 p.m. PBS is doing it, and you can catch it on PBS and all their social platforms, I believe. And it's being hosted by, this is an interesting pair, right, Beth? I'm sure you found this interesting. Joe Mantegna and Gary Sinise. You know, I mean, that's an interesting.
A little bit of a throwback. I love it.
Yeah, I love it. But a lot of your favorites will be there. Cynthia Erivo, Kelly O'Hara, Christopher Jackson, who we just mentioned, Renee Fleming. So it's going to be something fun to look forward to on Memorial Day weekend.
And there's a very special performance happening online tonight.
That's right. We've discussed it before, but we have to remind you because it's so special. The cast of Stokes, maybe you saw off Broadway, but definitely didn't see on Broadway, is doing a Sing from Home in benefit performance tonight. And this benefits the Mayor's Fund to Advance New York City and Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. And it's at 6:30 on the show's Facebook page. So check it out. It will be available through May 4th. So if you don't catch it tonight live, that's cool. You've got some time to check it out and also donate to a worthy cause.
This is also, I think, really smart. This is a good way for the show to build buzz and get people excited. I saw a clip, Ann L. Nathan, who we adore, is in the cast. And I saw she put a clip up of one of the songs. It looks like it's going to be really fun.
Yes, and after you're done doing that, you can head over and celebrate the Gratitude Awards tonight.
That's right. It's Gratitude Award Day, Beth. Never said that before, but this is cool. So the Drama League, we've been talking about this for a while. They usually do that award show where they honor 384 acting nominees and give one a trophy. That one, it's a really fun award show. But this year they sort of mixed it up and they're doing the Gratitude Awards, and they asked a bunch of Broadway favorites to pick someone that they're grateful for, right? Isn't that the concept of it, Beth?
That is. So you're going to see those actors talk about someone that they are thankful for, and you're going to see some people that you love.
You are. We have Idina Menzel, Nathan Lane. Didn't Nathan Lane win the big prize? Anyway,
he has in the past, yeah.
Yeah. Aaron Tveit, Adrian Warren, Elizabeth Stanley, Jeremy Pope, whose new show, Hollywood, premieres tomorrow, and we'll have his co-star, Patti LuPone, on tomorrow. Kelly O'Hara again, Kristen Chenoweth, Sutton Foster, Megan Hilty. I mean, it's going to be a really fun show, and it's nice that they're sort of turning award shows into something positive and light. I like it.
Yeah. Award season marches on.
Absolutely. You can see that on the Drama League's website tonight.
That's right. Well, thank you, Paul. Do you want to give us a weather report while you're there?
Well, it's a little windy. It's a little rain, on and off rain, but I think it's gonna be good. I think pretty soon it'll be warmer. I hope. Is it gonna get warmer, Beth? It is, right?
Sure. I think you've got a job as a weatherman if you want it. It's fine.
No, okay, sure.
You're in the field. I love it. All right. Well, Caitlin, thank you, Paul. Caitlin, tell us about our guest today, please.
Gladly. Yes, guys, we have Mr. Austin Scott here with us today for another round of Live Home Edition, live on both Facebook and YouTube. Guys, before all of this, like we said, he is starring in Girl from the North Country, which got to open on Broadway before, unfortunately, Broadway got closed down. So we're going to talk all about that. And before that, he just casually made his Broadway debut playing Alexander Hamilton in Hamilton. No big deal. Okay. So we're really excited to have him. You guys can follow him on social at Austin Scott 93. Leave all of your questions down in the comments below. And please welcome Austin and Beth.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hey, Austin. So where are you?
I am in beautiful South Burlington, Vermont. My girlfriend Alexa and I, we came out here. Her parents have a place out here, and so they kind of graciously took us under their wing. And I've been here working out, and they've got this beautiful property. So I've been, like working and doing stuff out in the lawn. Actually, I just spent 2 hours shoveling mulch into garden beds and stuff like that. So getting to be outside feels really good.
So you're keeping busy. It's not a 8 shows a week, but you're keeping busy.
Yeah, it's similar. It's
so similar. Well, you were one of the lucky ones who got to open your show. And also, I want to get some info out of you because you got to record your show as well, correct?
I did. We got so lucky.
So when that was that same week or really close to it. So tell me a little bit.
So we recorded Sunday and Monday the week before or the week of the shutdown. So yeah, literally we wrapped up in the studio. We had, I think, 3 days of performances and then shut down. Yeah, we got really lucky. We had so much fun with that. I'm not exactly sure when it's going to be dropped officially, but I know it's been announced. So really
it's coming. They just didn't give us a date. So we're just going to keep on waiting.
They ain't gave us a date neither. So you know what? We're waiting right there with you.
So this is really a different show from Hamilton. Tell me about stepping from one to the other, because it feels like you'd have to have a different metabolism.
Yeah, no, totally. In a lot of ways, it's completely 180 out, like the show itself and also the character, I think, which was a big reason why I wanted to do it. Hamilton is it's incredible. I could talk all day long about Hamilton. Everybody loves Hamilton. And it's just it's this fiery spectacle, high energy. And then Hamilton himself is always on the balls of his feet. He always has something to prove, he's go, go, go. And so transitioning from that to Joe Scott, who has been in prison for a couple years, life has kind of dealt him a lot of hard hands, and he's not broken, he's not defeated, but he's definitely been kind of kicked down, and he's just trying to find his way forward. And so it's a very, very different energy, much more kind of grounded and still, which I think was really cool to get to do that after 2 years of, my shop.
Yeah, I can imagine. And you get to sing one of the most famous Bob Dylan songs in the show, which is Hurricane. And this song has an interesting history. Can you tell us, for people who don't know, a little bit about the history of the song?
Yeah, so there was a boxer who, it's basically the true story of this boxer who was wrongfully convicted of a murder, and essentially sent to jail. And his whole career, just stopped and everything because of this conviction. And that's basically the story that the song tells.
Right. And your character tracks kind of closely to the reality of the Reuben Carter story.
Right.
So I'm wondering, did you get in the ring at all and actually throw a few punches?
I did. Yeah. As soon as I booked it, I was like, okay, I want to at least, understand this world, because I don't do a lot of boxing in the show. I do a little bit, but I want to just kind of feel what that felt like in my body and understand the culture. So I did. I was actually spent a month out here where I am now around Christmas, and I was training with local people around here, and I did a little bit when I went back to New York. And it's hard. It's really hard. It's the hardest workout I've ever had to do in my life. And I was just always sore, but I had a lot of respect for boxers after that.
And then you could access that on stage, I assume, since you got the thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Like I actually, when I got in there and started working with the fight choreographer, I didn't look like a complete idiot because I kind of knew what I was doing, at least more than I did before I trained. So it helped.
All right, let's go back into your history, okay? Mm-hmm. Because your experience in Hamilton was not your first experience in a Lin-Manuel Miranda show.
Right.
Take me back to when you were in California and some of your roots.
Yeah, ooh, look at you, did your research.
Oh, always.
Yeah, so I did my first production of In the Heights. I did that 2 times in California at a theater in Redwood City called Broadway by the Bay. And I played Benny both times, loved that show. That was the first time I actually had an interaction with Lin because he like sent the cast, some videos and stuff. It was just like, hey, break legs, all that stuff. And of course, at the time, that just like blew my mind. I was like, how the writer of this show is talking to me. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. And then I did it again upstate New York at the Hangar Theater in Ithaca.
So you have it In the Heights in your background. And then did you get to bring that information with you when you went, that kind of like knowledge of like Lin's rhythms with you when you went to audition for Hamilton? Because of course you did the tour
right
to Broadway.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's a specific kind of rapping. I mean, each song kind of has its own different vibe because he emulated a lot of different artists. But I think it definitely helped to have experience storytelling through rap because that's kind of its own thing. You know what I'm saying? And like they don't really teach that in any schools or anything like that. You're not really prepared for that. So yeah, having that background I think was really helpful.
All right, give us your origin story. When did you want to become a performer?
So I grew up in the Bay Area, California, Northern California. And I got started pretty young. I think like the first thing I was doing, I was like in kindergarten. And this woman who had like a children's choir, she came to my school and she kind of auditioned us or whatever. And she said, I think he's got something. So she let me into her choir. And I think I spent the next year of that just kind of like mouthing the words because I was so shy. And like, I think I played like a rain stick. That was about it. But I was really shy at first. I remember I also tried to like take some acting classes really young and I got rejected the first time because they were just like, oh, he's just too quiet. But then later, like a year later, I tried it again. And I walked in like with my little suit and I did it. But I think I knew from a pretty young age and all throughout like middle school and high school, I did improv and independent films and commercials and extra work and, shows that went through San Francisco, but there wasn't a lot there.
You went shows in high school as well?
Only my last year. So I was on the varsity improv team and the basketball team. Like
varsity what team?
Improv.
Wow, I didn't know that was a thing. Okay.
It is. Yep. There was a varsity improv team and a varsity basketball team, and I was the captain of both by my junior year. So it was a very like interesting mix. But yeah, I didn't really do any of the school plays until the final year.
And then what was the show? Beauty
and the Beast. I played Gaston.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
Which now I get to work with Mark Kudish, who played it on Broadway, and I'm just like, it's a dream come true.
Are you guys swapping Gaston stories?
Every now and then, but I think we've also just kind of like this mutual acknowledgement that like, yeah, we both did that, so we don't have to talk.
Yours is in high school. It's a little different, but that's fine.
Only slightly.
So are you all keeping in touch, the Girl from North Country cast during this?
Yeah, we have a group text, which I just accidentally called yesterday. I found out that if you hit the call button at the top of the group text, it calls literally every single one of them. So this is me apologizing to everyone on that list. But it's been really cool. Like we, anytime something comes up or like when we got to listen to the cast album for the first time, we all got together for a Zoom meeting with all the producers and everybody and just got to like sit and listen to it, have like a virtual listening party. And we were just texting each other like loving messages for the next 3 days. Just like, I'm listening to it again. And like, Mayor, you made me cry. And Kimber, you made me cry. It's been really nice to stay in touch with them.
It seems like it's a pretty tight cast. Now, of course, you didn't do it with them off Broadway.
No.
How were they welcoming you to their little tight-knit group there?
So welcoming. Oh my God. And I was nervous as hell going in because I was just like, yeah, I didn't do this off Broadway. This is going to be a thing that like is already what it is, and I'm just going to have to like, find it. And I was like really pleasantly surprised that, it felt like a brand new show from the first day of rehearsal. And like, from the director and the producers all the way down, like everyone they weren't really interested in just making the same thing again. They wanted to, make it something fresh. And so I really got to like create my own, Joe Scott kind of from the ground up. And everyone was just so encouraging and so warm. And it was like a family immediately. It's really cool.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah.
Now we have to address the name thing. Joe Scott was named Joe Scott before you came on.
Yeah, I know. He's like a long distant relative or something like that. I don't know. But
Right, your long lost cousin Joe.
Exactly. He never come to the family cookouts no more, so we haven't been talking.
Well, you have a lot of fans out there, so we're going to take some questions. So Caitlin, hop on.
Yes, there are a whole lot of people checking in. Okay, so we're going to do the first question from Marnie on Facebook. Wants to know, what was the very first Broadway show you were obsessed with?
Wow, great question. I think the first one I was obsessed with was probably a tie between Wicked and Lion King. I think both of those, like for different reasons, I was just obsessed. Like Wicked was, when I saw that for the first time, just like the spectacle of it and like the grandeur.
Was it on Broadway when you saw it the first time, or was it out on tour?
I think it was on tour. I think it was in San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
I think maybe Lion King was the first one I actually saw on Broadway.
You told us you wanted to be a Simba.
I did want to be a Simba. And then I talked to my friend Wallace, who did it for like 8 years. And he said it's tough, but it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I did want to be a Simba because it's just like, I wanted to have the headpiece that like you lean down and like, I still don't know how that works. And I have so many friends who've been in the show and like, no one will tell me how that works.
Magic.
It's movie stage magic. Yeah,
So,
that one.
Okay, next question. Along the same lines, Annie wants to know if you had like a dream, like an idol you looked up to, like a character that you loved a lot, or an actor that you really looked up to when you're going into this, especially now 2 Broadway shows, and big Broadway shows are your first ones and you're leading them. So wants to know, who's your inspiration?
Brian Stokes Mitchell is my guy. He's always been my guy. I saw him.
He's the chairman of the board. That's how I think of it.
Exactly. No, he literally, like, he's my president. But he's like, I saw him. Well, I loved him back when, like, I was watching Prince of Egypt, and he's saying, the lake of gold in the desert sands. Oh my God. But I got to see him. Me and my parents saw him. He was doing like a little tour, I think, through San Francisco, like years and years and years ago. And I just sat there like enthralled throughout the entire thing. And I've got to meet him a few times now since, and he's just, he's who I look up to in the world of theater. Absolutely.
Are you interested in any of his roles?
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to do like Man of La Mancha or South Pacific. I mean, all of like everything he's done would be amazing. I used to sing It Ain't Necessarily So. I used to sing that for like auditions and stuff like that, and I would listen to his that a lot. Yeah, I would do any of his roles.
By the way, anytime you want to sing to us, just keep going. We're here for you.
No.
But I'm giving you that permission, right, Caitlin? Okay.
No, I was like, I mean, we can just let it go. We can turn into a comedy live if we want. Easily, we can easily do that.
Live from Vermont.
Get them off a little bit. You ain't got to.
Okay, so kind of going off of the comment that you just said, Austin, Mark wants to know a little bit more about your audition processes for both Hamilton and Girl, because Hamilton, you went from tour to Broadway, and then you kind of got to step into this. So could you speak a little bit about those processes for you?
Yeah, so Hamilton's an interesting story because I originally auditioned for it about 3 times over the course of 2 years, I think. So the first time I auditioned for it, I was actually in Sofia, Bulgaria, shooting a TV horror movie called They Found Hell. And at that point, like, I didn't know anything about the show. It had like just gone up off Broadway, I think. So I was singing Dear Theodosia with like a little rolled up bundle of something in my arms as a pretend baby. And like, I didn't know what I was doing, but I did not get it that time. And then like about a year later, when I moved to New York, I went in for the first time, and I went in for basically every role except for Hamilton. Like they were just casting a wide net. So I was singing for George Washington and Lawrence Phillip and Lafayette Jefferson and, you know, basically all these other characters. And I had about like 7 or 8 callbacks with like, you know, Lynn and Tommy and Alex and, you know, all the producers and stuff like that. And at the very end, they were like, oh, we like you, but you're too young for this, too old for that, too, you know, whatever, but like, we'll keep you in mind. And of course, in my mind, I was like, well, that's it. Like, you know, I won't be in Hamilton, but at least I had a fun time. And then about 6 months, a year later, I was coming back from doing an out-of-town show called Hood about Robin Hood in Dallas. And they're like, we want to bring you in for Alexander Hamilton. We don't really think it's, you know, not necessarily a good fit. And like my agent was like, I can't see it, but, you know, go ahead and give it a shot. And I went in there.
Way to keep the faith for you.
Exactly. Well, like they knew but they always thought I was going to be like a bird or something like that.
I see.
And I went in and sang like 5 songs and had like, you know, 2 or 3 work sessions. And then I got the call that I was going to do a tour, and my mind just exploded.
Amazing. And what about Girl from the North Country? What was your audition like for that?
Girl from the North Country was pretty quick. I think I went in for my first audition like before a matinee, and I was like dog tired. My hair was like all raggedy and all that, which in retrospect was probably a good choice for the character.
Not on purpose?
Exactly. I didn't really, but I think it worked. And yeah, I went in and like, again, everyone was there and they were just like super warm. Connor is just like, any room he's in is just like the most welcoming, warm, like easygoing room ever. And like, I sang through the songs, and then they didn't say like anything to me. Like I sang through the thing, and like they didn't say anything. And so I was like, oh, I must have not done well. But like I felt good about it in some way. And then I got a call back where I was like, oh, I'm surprised. I guess, you know, they want to see if I can do better or something. So I went in, and I like forgot the name of the song, and it was just like, it was really just easygoing and funny. And like, I walked out of it just like, again, because they didn't really tell me much coming out of it. And I got the call a few days later that I got it, and I was just like, great, awesome. And then of course, there was decision to like, oh man, you know, then do I leave Hamilton or, you know, whatever. But I had been doing it for 2 years, so I was ready for just to try something new for a while.
Were you a Dylan fan?
I was not. There was a lot of songs that I was familiar with that I didn't know that Dylan wrote. Like, I'm ashamed to say that I thought "To Make You Feel My Love" was an Adele song. So don't tell Dylan. But as soon as I got into it and I like heard all these songs, I was like, oh wait, I know that song. I know that one too. And it just like my respect for his music just like grew tenfold.
And have you tried his whiskey? Because he has a whiskey company too.
It's really good. He sent us like 50 bottles of it for opening night, and like we all got to, you know, sit around and cheers. And it's really good. Like I like.
Bring some up to Vermont, because that could be helpful right now.
It could. I didn't though. I brought some tequila instead. Yeah, I think I left the whiskey in my dressing room, which maybe was.
Yeah, we were talking about that yesterday. Like, what's in those dressing rooms right now?
I know, it was so sad because the day that, you know, we got the shutdown announcement, they're like, okay, you can come by 6 o'clock and clear everything out, and then like we're, you know, shutting this down, locking it up, and no one can be in or out. So we all just like kind of frantically went to the thing and were like throwing things in boxes and stuff like that. So I hope I got everything perishable out. I'm so sorry for the people who have to clean that theater if I didn't. But yeah, I mean, I mostly just like, I grabbed anything that I thought, like I grabbed my back massager thing and probably things I didn't need, but you know, I just like grabbed a bunch of stuff. But I left some things in there just as like a show of good faith, because, you know, we'll be coming back.
You grabbed the necessities.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, I think we can end on this last question from Alexis, who wants to know, what song in Girl from the North Country do you not get to sing, but you wish you could?
Oh, that's a great question. Mayor Whittingham is God's gift to mankind. She's so incredible. She's so sweet. And I love all of her songs and all of her singing voices, but I don't really get to sing in any of them. So I'd probably say either How Does It Feel or Forever Young. Those are her two songs I don't really get to sing in. But there's another one. There's one that my first favorite song when I was first listening, when I was in rehearsals and listening to all the songs was I Want You, which Colton Ryan and Caitlin Houlihan get to sing. And that song just like melts my heart, but I'm not even anywhere near on stage for it. So I would love to have like a third little love triangle cameo in there. It's like, I'm here too, yeah. Just one line.
I think that could be like, Girl from the North Country 2, the sequel.
Exactly.
When the show starts back again, just like slowly walk behind them. I think that's fine.
I'm gonna talk to Connor, and we're gonna.
Yeah, you'll work on it. Be open to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh gosh! Well, thank you so much for coming, and joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So enjoy your time in Vermont. We can't wait to see you back on Broadway.
Thank you.
Thanks, Austin. Caitlin.
Of course. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today for another fun episode of Live at 5 Home Edition. You can tune in wherever you get your podcasts by searching for #Live at 5 and hitting that subscribe button. Now, guys, be sure to tune in next time because we are ending the week with Miss Patti LuPone.